What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I am Dial, and I'm back with another movie review. Today, we're going to be talking about the new horror, thriller, comedy. We'll get into that in a minute, but today we're going to be talking about the new film M3GAN that came out this past weekend from Universal and Blumhouse and produced by James Wan. So, let's get into this. So if you guys have been following my channel, you guys know I am a big horror and thriller fan. Specifically though, when it comes to the killer doll movies, I guess I have not been the biggest fan of those type of horror movies. Of course, most people are familiar with characters like Chucky and Annabelle and stuff like that. And to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of either of those. Chucky, I've seen all the movies. I know that there's a show out. I haven't watched it yet, so I don't know how good the show is. But as far as the movies, I consider them as guilty pleasures. To be honest, I don't think any of the movies are scary. And the longer it went on, the more ridiculous it got for me. It almost leaned into parody for me. And then you guys know my feelings about Annabelle and overall the Conjuring universe as a whole. Annabelle, I think I don't like Annabelle at all. I don't think she's scary. I don't like the concept of her in general. Yeah, I'm just not a big fan of the killer doll genre per se. If it's starting to become a genre. But anyway, when it comes to this movie, M3GAN, I'll be honest, my expectations were really, really low because of how I feel about killer dolls in general. And as far as the marketing, it didn't really like blow me away, to be honest. I know there's a lot of marketing for this movie. I've seen a lot of stuff for this film, which I was actually commending Universal that they're marketing this really, really hard. That must mean that they're really confident about this movie. But overall, I mean, as far as the trailers, I didn't think they were bad, but I didn't see anything that was like, oh man, I gotta see this. But yeah, and I saw, as far as the marketing, I saw, this is how hard they were going with marketing this movie. I think there was like a football game, and they had like girls dress up as M3GAN, and they did this creepy dance at a football game, and I'm like, oh, they're really going hard for this. I was really surprised. But like just the overall concept of this movie, like they're gonna have like a robot girl doll befriend another little girl, and I'm like, okay, wow, all right. Well, we've seen this before. If you guys have seen the remake of Child's Play that came out not too long ago, they did a similar thing with that. We're having like the doll be AI and stuff like that, and it's like it was hit or miss for me. So I didn't really expect anything that great from this movie, even though I was aware that this is a movie that was made by Blumhouse and produced by James Wan. You know, I'm a big fan of James Wan, but when it comes to him producing movies, it's not all of it has been great for me. If the Contra universe says anything. So, but hearing that this movie has been getting really good reviews, like people were really liking this. I think right now it's like in the 90s on Rotten Tomatoes. So yeah, there was a bit of hype going into this. So I was thinking, oh, people are really enjoying this, huh? I mean, we are starting to see a resurgence of the low budget horror thriller movies as of late, like stuff like Smile, which I still haven't seen yet. I'm still got to watch it because I heard a lot of good things about that, and it did really well at the box office as well. So I'm thinking, maybe this won't be as bad as I thought it would. So sitting down and watching this, what did I think? You know what? I was wrong. This movie is pretty good, man. I enjoyed this quite a bit. I was surprised. Um, Though what I will say about this film, if you guys are expecting like this extremely violent horror movie about this killer doll, I don't think you'll quite get that all the way through. I mean, it's not like a parody, but it's actually not as crazy as people were hyping this up to be. Like, people were saying that this was an insane movie and there was a lot of crazy stuff that was happening. I mean, yeah, there was some crazy stuff in the movie, but it was actually pretty tamed. And I'm not even saying it's a bad thing, really, because like, I guess for most people that making horror films, like, and as far as like the horror film audience, they're expecting most of these types of films to be extremely violent and go completely crazy and stuff like that, and like very low when it comes to like the commentary or like just the story and stuff like that. But I was surprised that this movie, like, actually had something to say. It actually had some decent commentary in this movie. Like, it was talking, it had stuff to say about how people raise their kids, and like how neglectful they can be, and like leaning too hard into technology and social media and like videos and stuff like that to raise their kids instead of parents actually teaching them fundamentals themselves. I thought there was some pretty decent commentary about that I did not expect. Which, this helped to give this movie a bit more substance than what we normally see from horror and thrillers. Um, as far as the acting and the characters, I thought they were pretty solid across the board. Allison Williams playing Gemma, I thought she was pretty good too. The only other thing I saw her in was Get Out, and I thought she was really good in that. So I'm glad to see her in more things, and I thought she was pretty solid in this as well. And then uh, the girl in the movie, played by Violet McGraw, I thought she was really good as well. I thought I really liked the dynamic that she has with Allison Williams' character. With Allison being this toy creator slash, like, I guess getting more into technology and stuff like that, and you see that she's really like caught up in her work, trying to you know make this product for kids and stuff like that, and that she doesn't have a lot of time um, to take care of Violet McGraw's character, because like she becomes an orphan because her parents get into this car accident, and so Allison Williams' character, who's a relative of her parents, has to adopt her, and she doesn't know anything about being a parent, and she's in the middle of her work and stuff like that. And so she creates M3GAN, the doll, to pretty much practically raise her and keep her occupied while she's busy with her work. So yeah, I thought the story was actually pretty solid across the board, and the performances were really, really good. Now, as far as M3GAN herself, the actual doll, man, I really was impressed with this doll. She had a lot of life to her, and another thing I was concerned about, because if you are familiar with Blumhouse movies, they don't like to spend a whole bunch on their films, and I think this movie only cost like $12 million, which is like chump change for movies nowadays. But what I kept getting proved wrong with Blumhouse movies, that yes, they spend very little on their movies, but they know how to effectively spend on their films. Like, they use that budget to their advantage, which is something I really respect about Blumhouse in general. They don't have to spend a whole bunch of money to make a movie look good, which I wish more bigger budget movies knew how to spend their movies efficiently. And as far as like just creating this character M3GAN, the doll, like, she was actually really, really good. She looked great. Like, I didn't notice any CGI on her or any like defects as far as like just bringing this character to life. Like, I believed this doll was real and was moving around and stuff like that. And I did not expect this doll to have so much personality either. Like, it was freaking nuts. Like, she actually felt like a person. And whenever she's interacting off of Violet McGraw's character or Allison Williams' character, I thought, wow, like, I was just blown away. It's probably too early to tell, because this movie just came out, but like, I'm almost confident to say that, like, if this movie keeps getting well received, and it gets more of an audience, like, and just basing it on how good the writing in this movie, I think this could be one of the, the big horror icons one day. Like, maybe too early to say. It may be a big statement for me, but like, I'm almost feeling that way. At least this, I think, will become the new cult classic for sure. But I think it deserves to be more than a cult classic. I think this is a really, really good movie. This could be on the same level as stuff like Chucky and Annabelle. In my opinion, I think this is more effective than Chucky and Annabelle. Because like, as I said, like, it's not like, I wouldn't really consider this to be a horror. Like, I would consider this to be more of a thriller comedy per se. Now, when I say comedy, I'm sure there's people out there to be like, huh, what? Like, this is not a serious movie? It is a serious movie, but it does have funny moments. Like, it's able to balance those two really well. That's one of the things I really liked about this movie. Like, just because it's a horror doesn't mean you can't have fun with this movie. And, like, I had fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed myself. This movie didn't take itself too seriously, which is, I think, is a good approach because, like, we've seen it time and time again with them trying to make the doll really serious and scary, and it just doesn't work. And I think, when it comes to them making movies about dolls, like, I think there needs to be a balance of like humor and seriousness, and this movie did it really, really well. On top of it having a good message and commentary about, about how you're raising your kids, and like, the overconsumption of technology and social media. I thought all of that was really, really good. And as far as like the, just the stuff that M3GAN does in this movie, as far as like the kills and stuff like that, because there are still kills in this movie. I thought it was really, really cool. I actually had chills and was kind of creeped out whenever M3GAN started, getting more self-aware and stuff like that. I thought it was really, really good. And like the audience that, that I was in when I saw this in the theater, like, you could tell that they were having a good time. When M3GAN starts doing crazy stuff, like the crowd was with it. Like, they were laughing, they were in suspense, they were reacting. Like, this is the type of movie that you need to see with a crowd for sure. And as I said, this movie's not too violent. Honestly, I could see people that are like, I could see kids, let me say, kids that are probably like maybe 12 or older. I think they could handle this movie fine. It's not too crazy. I think this movie's only PG-13, which is a shocker to me. Like, they were able to do what they were able to do without it being too violent. I definitely respect it. But like, I do enjoy this movie, and I recommend you guys watch this if you are a fan of horror and thrillers and you like killer dolls and stuff like that. I think this will be a hit. I definitely think so. So I will give M3GAN a solid B. Yeah, go watch this, man. It's a really good time. But that's how I feel about M3GAN. What did you guys think about it? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was okay? Comment your thoughts down below and let me know. If you guys enjoyed this review, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And please, if you want to be notified on future videos I'll be doing, hit the bell while you're at it. But that's all I have for you, horror fans, and I will see you guys next time. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.